Severe weather causes a hangar to collapse and damage airplanes. But that's not all. Local businesses and an apartment complex also take a beating. We get a closer look at the destruction. 50 years after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, a Houston pastor reflects on his friendship with the civil rights leader.
And a woman gets some unexpected results from Ancestry.com. The disturbing information she finds out about the fertility doctor her parents used. The news starts right now. But we are starting with this. Take a look at what strong winds have done overnight at Hobby Airport. Storms ripping through that hangar.
And it took a toll on other buildings nearby as well. Matt Doherty live at the airport with a closer look at all of this damage. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jason, Reiko, we've just found out that the runway has reopened again. I want to take you on the other side of this fence over here so you can take a look at some of this wind damage. You see that hangar over there? That was done by 80-mile-an-hour winds. See all those planes that were parked beneath? They were damaged too.
It was just almost like Hurricane Harvey all over again.
Those winds tore through this complex, breaking windows, toppling trees, tearing apart the roof.
It's heartbreaking to know that you have to kind of start over again. And
this family-owned complex had nearly completed renovations after the destruction caused by Harvey, but now they'll have to
go back to square one, try and make things the way they're supposed to be again. And if there is any silver lining, is that no one was hurt.
Not far from here, the damage is seen at Hobby Airport. The severe wind tore through this private hangar, not only damaging the structure, but several planes here too.
I ain't got the boots that I need.
At Cavender's off the Gulf Freeway, they're selling boots in the dark. The winds knocked out the power to the store, but it's not stopping them.
We're still open and we're trying to help every customer that comes in.
With only flashlights and cell phones, the ladies here are still hard at work. A little wind is no match for them. One last look at some of the damage out there at this private hangar. Now, in this area where we're at right now, a little more than 100 homes and businesses were without power until about an hour ago. Out in Bel Air, that number was more than 1,500 people without power up until a little more than an hour ago, but much of that has been restored as well. Back to you guys.
Good news. Thank you, Matt. Well, here's something you don't see every day. A car fell off the Cottage Street overpass onto the North Freeway. This happened just before 9 o'clock this morning. A Dodge Charger plowed through a grassy area, then it went through a fence and fell onto the southbound lanes, hitting two SUVs. It's unclear whether anyone was seriously hurt. All right, a woman who police say was captured on Facebook Live accidentally shooting a man now faces even more charges. Cassandra Damper is charged with aggravated assault a day after being charged with tampering with evidence. Detectives say Damper shot Devin Holmes inside a car in the parking lot of a Museum District gas station on Easter Sunday. They were playing with two pistols live on Facebook when one of them went off. Holmes survived. Detectives say Damper tried to rub off gunshot residue after the shooting. A former Harris County Sheriff's deputy is in jail tonight accused of sexually assaulting a child. 38-year-old Keith Mayweather is facing 2 counts of assaulting a child between the ages of 14 and 17. The sheriff's office says it's fired Mayweather last year for unrelated reasons. Mayweather's bond is set at $60,000.
And now it's a look back in time. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. assassinated 50 years ago today in Memphis. And here in Houston, a friend and fellow pastor is among those remembering the civil rights leader. Jason Miles live from the University of Houston now with how Houstonians are honoring Dr. King's legacy.
Hey there, Jason. This is the Bruce Religion Center on the UH campus, where an event will take place later tonight commemorating the 50th anniversary of MLK's assassination. And take a look at this. It's a replica of a motel door, the same door Dr. King was standing near when he was shot and killed 50 years ago tonight. It's a time Reverend William Lawson of Houston remembers well. King was a friend, a fellow pastor, and a man he remembers fondly. Music fills the sanctuary of Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. A concert honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on the 50th anniversary of his death. Reverend William Lawson founded this church and once welcomed King to Houston.
I had never met him before, but when he wanted to come to Houston, I said, well, if other churches will not welcome you, I will.
This is a photo of Reverends King and Lawson together. Both were born in the same year, but Dr. King was shot and killed at age 39 while fighting for the rights of Memphis sanitation workers.
He was a leader of a movement, and to this day, there are still questions about whether the movement died when he was assassinated. And those of us who still live and who remember what the vision was still are certain that the dream is still alive.
Lawson never marched with MLK, but did help organize a fundraising concert at the old downtown Coliseum in the midst of the movement. He says the venue was smoke bombed, but the event continued.
If you were stubborn enough and self-confident enough, you can do whatever you want to do.
Fortunately, Lawson says Houston escaped much of the turmoil that plagued other cities.
But there was racism, and there was the difficulty that we faced.
Difficulty the decades have helped lessen, but not erase. Lawson says Dr. King's legacy should play on as long as injustice and inequality persists. And Reverend Lawson will participate in the event here at UH tonight. Meantime, another concert will take place at his church, Wheeler Avenue Baptist, at 7 o'clock. I'll have more from here coming up at 5. Jason?
All right, Jason Miles, thank you so much. And as we celebrate Dr. King's legacy, we're asking for your opinions. Do you think enough progress has been made to fulfill his vision? Let us know what you think by voting at khou.com/vote now or on the KHOU 11 mobile app.
All right, have you been outside today? Blue skies, cool breeze. You almost forget that those storms woke us up last night.
It was something. It was. Brooks, the big question now, can we expect this calm weather to stick around?
Yes, at least for another day, but as springtime comes, changes follow, and that is going to be the change in the weather. So we're going to go from this blue sky to a chance for some stray showers, maybe a rumble tomorrow afternoon, and then a lot more weather coming our way for the end of the week. So let's talk about what's going on outside right now. Bright blue skies, 73 degrees, dew point 36. This is very dry air. Talk about a big change compared to yesterday's heat and humidity, followed by that big storm during the evening. Northeast winds right now at 14 miles an hour. Now, last night, right here at Hobby Airport, about 11:30, between then and about midnight, big damage, of course, to that the hangar we showed you in the earlier report. This is an incredible picture from our Michelle Chow. What this was straight line wind gusts, and what that means is that winds, instead of coming from a tornado, were going in one direction. Now, coming up, we're going to take a look at another chance for severe weather before this weekend is out, guys.
Thank you, Brooks.
And if you ask nicely, anything can happen. A woman was looking for a special birthday wish for her husband's 45th birthday, so she took to Twitter, asked Houston's police chief to send him a message.
And Chief Art Acevedo came through.
Hi, Daryl. It's Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo. Your beautiful bride, Anna, told me that it is your 45th birthday, so I want to take a minute to say happy birthday. I hope you have the best one yet, and many, many more to go. Enjoy your day, enjoy your family.
A great official birthday message. Anna responded saying the video made their day. Nice job, Chief.
I think he may have to limit these one per day, though. He's got other things to do.
Now everyone's asking. 3 people are recovering after a shooting at YouTube headquarters.
And now we know the possible motive of the woman who opened fire before killing herself.
Can wearing a special scarf protect you from breathing in germs and pollution? We talked to a doctor about whether it works.
And how many diamonds does it take to make a championship ring? We take a closer look at the Astros bling.
And if you're heading out the door, here's a look at your drive times for the evening commute. And throughout the show, we're going to look back on some of Dr. King's legendary quotes. Okay, we have some breaking news to tell you about right now. Take a look at this picture. This is at a Pearland. A little girl has been found. That's her right there. And right now, Pearland police are trying to find her parents. She was found around 1:30 this afternoon on Keithwood Drive near the Pearland Area Dad's Club. You can see she has blonde hair. She has brown eyes, about 2 feet tall. If you recognize this little girl, please call Pearland Police. We are learning more about what led to yesterday's shooting at the YouTube headquarters in California.
Police say Nasim Agdam, who was 39, shot 3 others before shooting and killing herself. Investigators say she did not target her victims, but that she may have opened fire because she was angry at YouTube for filtering her videos. The shooter's aunt says YouTube filtered those videos, which told the world to stop eating meat, and that Agdam's parents were worried she may commit a crime.
The parents warn police, be careful. Maybe she's angry of YouTube because she has this anger for 1 year.
One victim is in serious condition, another in critical, and the third is expected to be fine. Meanwhile, the CEO of Facebook is preparing to testify in front of a House Oversight Committee next week. The hearing will focus on Facebook's protection of user data. Facebook faces scrutiny after allegations that a consulting firm got data about tens of millions of Facebook users to try and influence elections. Lawmakers hope the hearing helps Americans better understand what happens to their personal info online. And with a record-setting flu season and pollen everywhere, who wouldn't like a simple solution to stay healthy?
Yeah, and this sounds pretty simple. A new product is out. It's called the BioScarf, and it claims it can protect you from getting sick. Our Sherman Chow went to check it out.
All right, guys, now this looks like an ordinary scarf, but its maker claims it is so much more than that. Can this actually keep you from getting sick?
Spring is in the air, and so it seems is just about everything else. Some folks try to filter it all out, but that can seem intimidating. So, what about a mask that doesn't look like one? We brought a BioScarf to Dr. David Kari, professor and chief of immunology, allergy, and rheumatology at Baylor College of Medicine. Dr. Kari reviewed a study supplied by the company that shows the scarf filters out particles 0.1 micron sized or larger.
In a perfect set of conditions, the BioScarf will remove virtually any infectious organism you can imagine.
Flu, cold, whatever.
That's exactly right.
Pollens are also larger than 0.1 micron, so the scarf would filter that out too. And lest you think allergies are just an annoyance,
We're looking for molds that grow in people's airways.
these are actual patient samples. Yep, allergies can make you really sick.
These are people who might actually benefit from the BioScarf?
That's exactly right.
But that benefit is limited, unlike perfect lab conditions for the mask test.
Actual efficiency in the real world totally depends on how well they fit around your face.
Still, a filter does help. And back at the park, 12-year-old Sophie Whittingham gave the scarf a try.
Yeah, it's pretty breathable. So.
And yes, it's cute. So, for $39, Mom says,
Whether it did the job or not, I'm sure we'd be able to use it well.
So Mom says they'd be able to use it. Now, Dr. Kari says, bottom line, that the scarf generally does what it is advertised to do. But, and you knew there was a but, an off-the-counter scarf might do it as well, but we just don't know because no one actually tests whether ordinary scarves can filter small particles as well. And of course, they would be a little bit cheaper than the $39. So
yeah, but I'm thinking they have to be a little bit thicker because this seems a bit thicker.
This
so
is like
maybe any
it's
kind
almost
of thick
like a
scarf.
fleece.
It is.
Yeah.
But is it the magic intersection of function and
Some
fashion?
people, I'm sure, are willing to try anything at this point.
Yeah, I know. Anything to lessen the severity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'd avoid walking into a bank, though, with that scarf on.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you know, summertime, wearing a scarf, you kind of get the heebie-jeebies, right?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But good for all the pollen that is definitely in the air now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you, Sherman.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I might keep this.
Go ahead, it's all yours, girl.
All right, Brooke, speaking of pollen, let's talk about the weather. My allergies kind of started tickling again in my sinuses.
Me too. I'm hearing it among all of our colleagues too.
Yeah.
And it's high. Today, it's not just the tree pollen, because sometimes people are immune to that stuff. I've been lucky. I haven't had a problem with tree pollen. But once you get to the weed pollen and the grass pollen, it's that culmination that gets you. So yes, everything high right now, all of it. So heads up. Maybe this scarf's a good bet for you. Maybe just breathe it in and acclimate. I don't know how that works. But anyway, I do know this. The big storms we had last night are history. The frontal boundary that produced them well offshore, but there's still some moisture about 150 miles south of us. around the Corpus Christi area. That's going to linger through the evening before eventually winds will turn and this air mass heads our way. So there will be a slight chance for rain, not as much as you see here for tomorrow, but that will represent the leading edge of some warmer air. So today, obviously, beautiful weather. And once the warmer air rolls in, well, we're going to start to see our rain chances going up. So here's how it looks today at 5 o'clock. We're going to see that rain continuing there and then eventually dissipating with the end of the heating of the day that kind of gets the atmosphere boiling. Tomorrow evening, chance for a couple of stray showers here for our Thursday. And by Friday, south winds kick in. We'll see isolated showers and thunderstorms. Now, any storms that form could be severe. And by the way, when we say severe storms, you got to take this stuff seriously. Here's a shot from our Michelle Choi, who was reporting earlier today on this incident at Hobby Airport with a microburst. That's straight line wind damage. Now, the damage from this is interesting to me because last week we had those big storms on, I believe my memory is right, it was Friday night. Or no, it was Thursday night, and we had a tornado in Iowa Colony in Brazoria County. It was an EF0, very little damage, some fences knocked down. This was non-tornadic winds, but equivalent to an EF1 twister. So it just shows you, you don't need to have a tornado warning to cause the kind of damage that's going to be impactful, expensive, and frankly dangerous. So now that we're in the clear, we look to the temperatures. We're about 10 to 15 degrees cooler at this time than we were yesterday. It's wonderful outside. 73 degrees in Houston, 74 in Pearland, 73 in Galveston, a northeast wind at about 15 miles an hour. Low humidity made for a fantastic win against the Orioles earlier this afternoon. Growing grass right now at Minute Maid Park with the roof wide open. So the 7-day forecast featuring 74 degrees tomorrow, a 30% chance for a couple of afternoon showers. On Friday, the rain chance at 30%, the high 85. It's going to warm up fast, but any storms that form have potential to be strong. On Saturday morning, we could see more rain. We've got a cool front coming in. Look at the 67 on Saturday for the high. If you have outdoor plans on Saturday, dodging some rain in the morning. Otherwise, it's going to be a cooler afternoon and then warming it up once again for the middle part of next week, back to the 80s, guys.
Oh, man, did you have to go there?
April.
Thank you, Brooks.
You got it.
These shine brighter than the sun. We're taking a closer look at the Astros championship rings to see what makes them so unique.
And lungs in a box. How Houston doctors completed the first successful transplant with lungs that were already breathing before the surgery.
Astros fans celebrating another win at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? And the players have something else to rejoice in. Their new World Series championship rings. Did you see the bling? They got the new bling last night before the game. The blue and orange sapphire diamond rings have these symbolic taglines, earned history and Houston strong. Each one has 112 diamonds for every victory last season. And we have more than 100 photos of the rings on KHOU.com. And you were telling me that it is all sapphire, the
orange sapphire, blue sapphire, and then there's diamonds. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
In fact, when we tweeted a photo of the ring, people had a lot to say. Randy thinks the ring should have had the Astrodome instead of the Houston skyline because he believes it's synonymous with the Astros. Another person says, really a classy piece, stunning and with all the emotion of Houston strong. In fact, the ring designer says it's one of the top 2 rings he has ever made in his 30 years of doing this.
It really is beautiful. Do you know how much it is?
Priceless.
Ah, good one. Okay.
That's what the Astros say.
Hey, have you seen this man? The reason this photo composite of a burglary suspect? Oh no, it's getting more attention than police expected.
And remember to vote in our informal poll. Do you think enough progress has been made to fulfill Dr. Martin Luther King's vision? Let us know, KHOU.com/vote now.
Police in the UK are getting a lot of response after asking the public to help find a burglary suspect.
I imagine it'd be pretty easy to find this guy. That's because the computer-generated composite sketch they released looks like this.
Why is his mouth that big?
Computer error? Of course, the internet can't stop talking about it. We can't stop laughing about it.
Yeah, Jonathan says, I think we'd all recall seeing him. Yeah, I get it. Oh, and Sally says, wearing a distinctive hat, so should be able to spot. Yeah, the hat gives it away. And Ryan Joes, could you describe the burglar? You know, Henry J. Waternoose III from the movie Monsters, Inc. He looks just like that. For the record, police say they've actually gotten a lot of attention from this composite, and they hope that, you know, all this attention will help find the real guy.
They're going to have to go up, hey, smile for us.
That mouth is so big. Okay. Straight ahead, making music. See what happens when Rockets GM Daryl Morey comes off the hardwood. We've got your backstage pass.
And it was decades ago, but for them, it still seems like yesterday. At 4:30, local singers remembering their brush with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.